Well, it's that time again. Let's get back to the Jeep. What's up, guys? Take two. What's up, guys? Well, if you saw my last video working on the Transit, you know that I am taking a day to do a little bit on the Jeep here. So, basically, bring it back up to speed. Where we left off, we were having major carb issues. We could not keep the old girl running nicely. I did do a rebuild on the carb. Let's get this right. It was a Solex carb that was on here. Solex, doesn't matter. We had issues with that carb. Bought a rebuild kit for it, went entirely through it, still could not get it to run well. It was difficult to start. It would only idle on the choke, and it just, wasn't happy. So, we pivoted a Carter carb off another Jeep engine, tried that on here, and it would idle okay. Didn't want to rev, but that was an old carb. It needed refurbishment, and really don't know much about it. It just came with the engine, but at least it was firing this thing up. So we did have several other old Carter carbs, and they went off to be refurbished, and we do have them, we have one carb back now, which a ground up refurbishment. It's basically set up to go straight on, and yeah, that's what we're going to do today. And any of the little bits and pieces that we can do in the time allotted. But the main thing is get the carb on, see if we can get it started. But walking around the Jeep, you may notice a few little additions since the last time. It's not bolted down, but we now have these fender mounted lights. These are British spec, British military put these on this Jeep. I don't know if you recall, but this is going to be in a British military spec colours, what have you, or at least close to it. There's a few little exceptions, but I'll go over those at a later date. But these will be side lights. Did run the wiring in for them. It is terminated there, and got a harness that runs across the front. Now, they are still to be connected up, but for now, the housings which is bolted onto the body, you also may notice they are actually a gloss green. They will be painted. This whole vehicle needs a quick dust over, basically because as we were painting components to put them on, we went through two different batches of paint, and although it doesn't show up on camera, there is a slight difference between the fenders and the body. So we're going to go over everything. It'll get a dusting down just to even out all the colours. Other things, obviously grab handles etc. have been fitted on. You've got exposed bolt heads here, they all need to be colour matched. So it will just get a complete dusting over once it is complete. So I think that basically brings us up to date with it. I haven't had the opportunity to do any work on this really, other than little bits and pieces here and there. I have been back home working on the VW, and I have been working on the Transit. My priority at the moment is the Transit. I need that finished and on the road. And so yeah, the Jeep has taken a bit of a backseat there. Anyway, that's enough of me. Let's get on and we'll go grab the carb. Now, one thing we were missing is this little guy here. Where are you at? This sits into the intake manifold, and then the carb sits on top. So, and it's like an air diffuser. So I'm assuming what it does is it creates like a swirl on the intake, which distributes fuel more evenly across the intake runners. Anyway, let's get a couple of new gaskets to pop this on. Well, here we have the new carb. Let me just unzip it there. Well, reconditioned. Well, that's looking good. Let's pull it out. Now that looks more of the business now, doesn't it? What else have we got in here? Ooh, a new diffuser. Excellent. Tell you what, we'll take this old one off, put the new one on. Fantastic. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Is this a Carter? This is more like the original wartime Carb. Doesn't matter anyway, but yeah, that's the new Carb, new diffuser. Let's just lay it over on its side so it doesn't fall off. Yeah. Anyway, let's get it put on. So, Carb is now on. Only thing I don't have hooked up, that there is a fast idle cable. That's not connected at the moment, I'm not worried about that. But the only other issue I'm having is the choke. It pulls on okay, it just does not return. So the carb itself is nice and free, it's working fine. But it's the cable. So I'll have to have a bit mess about with that later, but for the moment I'm just going to concentrate on getting it started. I can do the choke manually. So I'm going to get some fuel into this and we'll take it from there. Okay, so we're going to pour a little bit of gas into the carb. A little bit too much, that's perfect. So, ignition on. Now, you may remember, you may not, but I got rid of the foot switch on this because we're having a lot of issues with it. So we did go with a conventional push button on the dashboard, and it works a Lucas style solenoid, so just makes life a little easier. Anyway, bring the thunder. Oh, that's promising. Whoa! Let's try that again. Put a little more gas down there. Let's try the pump. Yeah, pump is definitely primed. Let's try this again. Bring the thunder. Let's just, I'm just going to give it a little bit, open the choke up a little bit. Oops. Way too much. Perfect. Let's just try it like this. Hell yeah! That is so much better. Well, I mean, she's still stone cold, but it's a very frosty day today. But yeah, that is excellent. Let's get the old foot in on the throttle. Does need a return spring on there, by the way. Right, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm going to just leave this to idle for a while just to get some heat into it. Wow, that was easier than I expected. I was figuring out how to mess about with this for a while, but straighten it up. No, that was pretty straightforward. Now, we do not have the dynamo hooked up just now. We don't know if that's working. If you recall, I did promise I did promise a wiring diagram for this. I've got the wiring diagram complete, and I've also got the supplement complete, which is to wire this Lucas style 12-volt regulator on. Now, we don't know if the dynamo is working, so it's been a bit of a long trek with this. We needed the engine running correctly and able to idle so that we can have the dynamo tested. We don't want to take it off the vehicle if we don't have to. So when I return here to do some more work on the Transit, I will have someone drop by and he's going to test the dynamo. I mean, I have a vague idea on how to test them. The field and the, what's the other one called? The two connections anyway on the dynamo, you basically pull those two together, then you can use a crocodile clip or whatever you want, just connect these two together, then you take a feed from that to your voltmeter and obviously to ground. And then that should tell you if the dynamo is outputting voltage, because right now we don't know. So, yeah. But I don't know if you can see in there, by the way, that's a Lucas style solenoid. I mean, I call it Lucas style because Lucas did produce them. There's a lot of different manufacturers. Ford used these extensively in the UK. Right up until, mid-70s, late 70s, when they switched to pre-engaged starter motors with the solenoid built into the starter. But yeah, they used that style of solenoid for many, many years. So I just call it the Lucas style because that was predominantly the manufacturer here in the UK, and they were reliable. I know Lucas has a bit of a reputation, but I mean, I've had a lot of vehicles with these on, and I've had like a decade or more out of them. So anyway, I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the battery on charge. I have had it charging this morning, but obviously been running the engine and everything. I am just going to stick it on charge. It's the one of these little eBay maintenance chargers, so I'll stick it on there. It can sit there for the rest of the day. Now, a few other things I am going to do. Given that went so smoothly, I need to figure out this choke cable, because what's happening is when you're pulling on the choke, the cable's sticking basically, and it just will not return. When you try to push the actual choke lever in, all it's doing is it's moving this outer sleeve and not actually disengaging the choke. So I'm going to take a look at that. There's a few bits and pieces to go on around the outside. Yeah, that's one of the ones that's fell off there. This, I believe, goes on here somewhere. There are a few other bits and pieces. That's on there. Okay, there's a hole to drill around here somewhere. Don't know where. Oh, there's a one for this, because that kind of goes on something like that. I'll have to look at the other side. That's on okay. That one's okay. I don't think there's anything on this side. I'm hooked on the door at the moment. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, throttle cable's still to hook up. I'm not going to do that today. I need to get this up in the air to do that exhaust properly. But anyway, there's bits and pieces around. I might get these lights. Actually, we don't have the internals yet for these lights, so no, I won't do them. But there's bits and pieces to do on the GP today, so I'm just going to take the time, just wander around and do whatever I can. So yeah. So I've gone through, everything is now bolted up. Reflectors on, all the bolts are in on this side. But the only one I'm having difficulty with is, what have I done with it? This one here actually holds the, let's get the camera into place, holds the axon. Now, I've been looking at photographs online, and some are mounted there, some are mounted there, some are mounted there. So, yeah. Now, I have noticed that if you look in here, there's a hole down here somewhere there. So I think that is the hole that is meant to go through. So it has had a lot of welding done on this tub, and it has had a plate on just there. So I'm thinking all they've done is covered the hole up. So fingers crossed. Going to punch a hole through there, and hopefully it'll line up. If not, I'll have the welder out and I'll be filling it back up again, so fingers crossed. Okay, I've punched a small hole through there, and it looks like, yeah, you see that? Anyway, that seems to be the location, so yeah, let's just hog it out a bit and then we will bolt that up, and that's basically it. Wow, we are back inside again, so let's see if she'll start up. Oops. Horn works. She's not happy, is she? Nope. Okay, let's pop the hood, have a look. I forgot the choke sticks on her. Okay, that's not a good sign. That's the clutch let right out and she ain't moving. Oh, bugger. I don't have time to sort this out today, so... Oh, wait a minute. She has a transfer case. Under the transfer case is a neutral. Yeah, I think I'm going to push her back in. The clutch is adjusted right up. There's no more adjustment left on it. So, yeah, we're going to have a good look at this when I come back. Anyway, let's just turn her off. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. This is the first time we've actually tried to move her under her own steam. And yeah, I forgot, transfer case was in neutral. We stuck it in neutral when we were doing various things underneath. But yeah, the clutch is fully adjusted there. And yeah, obviously she will not go into gear. Well, this is very, very disappointing. Obviously, I have not had the opportunity to run the engine up and just try her through the gears. That is a big surprise there. Everything seems to be buttoned up into place. Although one thing I did notice is that the clutch cable is fully adjusted. So, you know, fortunately there is a plate on the transmission here that I can pop off, and I can get my hand in down to the clutch lever, clutch fork and everything, and the throw out bearing. So I can just make sure all of that is okay. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time to do that today. It's getting on for 2 o'clock. I am leaving in the morning, so I need to start sorting out the tools and getting them packed up, ready to leave. So that'll have to wait until I return. As for the VW, I am not sure if I will have the opportunity this coming week to do any work on it. Hopefully I will, but it is very weather dependent. Therefore, maybe the next video you see is me back here working on the Transit. Right now I am uploading the Transit video. It is a little bit late, but it should be live first thing tomorrow morning, which is Saturday. I will edit the footage on this and should have that up for next weekend. And if I do anything on the VW, obviously I'll have that available soon. Otherwise, next thing you'll see is me back working on the Transit. So there we have it. Anyway, this is the end of the video. So take care, come back and see me sometime, and have a good one.